It's time for another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in general here in the Ozarks. Whether you are considering a move to this area or trying to learn more about the place you call home, we've got something special for you. Without further ado, here's our fearless host, Randy Wilburn.
Hey folks, it's Randy Wilburn from I Am Northwest Arkansas. I decided to go live today for today's episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, and I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to share with you some thoughts and some observations on all that we're dealing with right now with the pandemic, and I think that it couldn't be a better time to do it than just right now. I don't know about you guys. I've just been, first of all, it's hot, right? And secondly, it's just, we are in what they call the dog days of summer. So I think we're all kind of feeling it right now. And then when you add the pandemic to it, there's really nothing else to compare this to. And so I wanted to just kind of share a few observations that I had, based on everything that we're currently dealing with, based on just how life is happening to us right now. I think it sucks all the way around. I think I share the same sentiments that most of us have about the current situation and state of affairs that we're in. But you know what? There's not much we can do about it. And that is, of course, outside of wearing masks. But that's a whole nother story. And that's not really the purpose of this particular episode. I really just wanted to share some observations and thoughts that I had coming into this and just kind of dealing with it as we are. I think for the most part, Americans are doing the best that they can with what they have, with everything that we have, whether it's PPE and whether it's anything that we're hoping to have for this current situation. We just don't have enough of it, I guess, whatever that would be. So, and I really wanted to remind you that this pandemic, this coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, there's nothing to compare it to. I mean, we don't have any frame of reference for any other time that we know of. And I say we, I mean the people that are alive today. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that were around from the Spanish influenza and how tragic that pandemic was back in the 1918s. But the bottom line is we still don't have any frame of reference to share it with. So the bottom line is we're in this together, I think. And I think that is I think it's more encouraging than anything is that we're not alone. It's not like it's just that COVID is just affecting one group versus another. Although, yes, African Americans are struggling with COVID at a higher rate than anybody else. That's statistical fact. But the bottom line is that's why we got to work to eradicate this thing as quickly as possible. I want to encourage everybody that is working hard to just kind of continue doing what you're doing. Let's focus on moving the needle forward. A lot of what we're dealing with is the fact that this COVID-19 is at the forefront of our minds every day, all day. And so it's hard to kind of focus on other things, right? And I know I've tried to do what I'm doing a little differently right now because of this. Obviously, I've been spending more time in a studio in my garage, figuring out how to do things and learning some new stuff and gaining some new skills. So we have to continue to get better. I think there's never been a better time for us to read more, to engage in thoughtful discussion and discourse more, where we're not blaming each other for things, but we're just talking through and having what I would call a very civil conversation with your neighbor, right? Because I think that's really important. But we have to continue to move this needle forward. It's really, really important for us to figure out how we do that, what we do, what it looks like. And, that's I think is a big issue that we have to focus on. The next thing is I wanted to share that we have to stop keeping score. We're all losing because of this pandemic. So whether you're on the side of no mask versus on the side of mask or anything like that, we're all losing right now. So trying to keep score in terms of who's right and who's wrong, let the history books decide that, and they will. The history books will be very clear about the winners and losers during this pandemic. But for you to take the time to focus on that when you could be doing so many other things, my advice would be is to let the history books decide all of that in terms of who is a winner and a loser in this pandemic. And I would hate to think of it on those terms, but so many of us, at least here in the United States, do. And I really just want to encourage you to start thinking about how you think about this whole process. I mean, we are all losing. We have had over 100, and at the time of this recording, 160,000 deaths. They are saying that we might have up to 300,000. My God, I hope we don't. And this has not been good for anybody. I don't care what side of the aisle you are on or anything from a political affiliation. This is no good for anyone. And of course, we are being attacked. Our very foundation, the democracy of this country, is under attack. And I think we just need to be aware of that. We need to be cognizant of what's at stake. So I really want to encourage you to put your score sheet away. Stop tallying when somebody that you don't agree with loses out on something, and vice versa. Maybe there will be a time for that. I don't know, but I don't think that helps us any. I think we need to be thinking about solutions, ways that we can overcome this. And, the biggest solution right now that we're all focused on is how do we get our kids back to school safely? They've already tried in some parts of the country and it hasn't worked out so well. And I think we're already seeing, and the writing is on the wall, that this fall is going to be a lot like this past spring school year or semester, depending on what grade you're in or if you're in college. So I think we need to be thinking about that. How does that impact these young people? Because I got to tell you, it's got to be unnerving. Although I do think kids are resilient. I think that for a lot of children, this is uncharted territory, and they really don't know how to feel, how to react. I don't know about you, but my kids have been, they've been special during this pandemic. And let's just say that I love them to death. I love them to life, if you will, but they have certainly been special, and we have worked through this. But it's always interesting to hear their thoughts about what we should be doing during this pandemic. Because of course, if they had their way, they would do schoolwork and play Fortnite all day. So take that for what it's worth. I think that if there was ever a time to start a business, this is my fourth observation. If there was ever a time to start a business, now is the time. I think that there are a lot of opportunities for us to get out and try new things. And so, for those of you that are watching this on the replay, I certainly appreciate you checking in and checking out what we're doing here at I Am Northwest Arkansas. But, I think that this is a great time to start a business. I know it sounds crazy, but there are a lot of people out there creating new opportunities, finding needs that need to be met. And, a lot of great businesses in this country and in other countries have been developed through strife, through challenges, and especially in uncertain times. And so I really want to encourage you to be thinking about that. If this is something that you've kind of thought about or gone through, you may want to consider, hey, is there something else I want to be doing? Maybe it's a side hustle that you want to add to what you're already doing. Thankfully, maybe you're still employed. And if that's the case, which a lot of people still are, at least in Northwest Arkansas, think about what your other options are. I don't know that there's ever been a better time to pivot if you've thought about doing something else. Of course, we all want our health insurance. We all want to be able to feed our families and all that stuff. And I'm not suggesting that you up and cold turkey leave everything. I'm just saying there's never been a better time to pivot if you're in a position to pivot. If you're in a position to think about, starting something else. If you've always dreamed about a business, there's never been a better time to do research. You have nothing but time on your hands. It's not like you can go to a bunch of parties or go out to eat every night of the week. Of course, you shouldn't be doing either of those because, let's face it, you're better off staying at home as much as possible. Now, still go out and support businesses. Go shopping, shop online, and support and help save our restaurants by ordering takeout, curbside pickup, drop-in pickup, whatever you can do to continue to support our local restaurants. But we can get this thing contained, the more that we kind of stay isolated as much as possible when possible. So, I mean, that's just something to think about. But I think that, I know it's crazy. It sounds crazy that, oh my God, Randy's saying that we should all go out and start a business right now. What I'm saying is that you should be thinking about things that you've wanted to do. And, well, I don't know. Maybe there's never been a better time to think about starting a new business than right now. What does that look like? I can't tell. I can't say for you what that looks like. I know for me, I'm working and pivoting in some new areas, and I'm focusing more on podcasting and some of the things that really bring me true joy when I do them on a regular basis. And I've heard from so many of you, those that listen to the podcast on a regular basis, that have given me feedback on the people that I've interviewed and the way that I've interviewed them, and my ability to keep a conversation going and keep it organic and fresh. I really appreciate that. And so I'm finding my groove right now in this season during this pandemic. And, I would encourage you to see if you can find yours and see if there's something that makes sense to you, especially from a new business opportunity. I've even worked with my kids during this summer to get them out there, whether it was spraying, power washing driveways, or spreading mulch, cleaning pool houses, or cleaning pools. I mean, just you name it. There's all kinds of opportunities out there for adults and kids. So I would just encourage you to be looking at that. I know school's about to start, and a lot of us have to get back into that frame of mind and what that looks like. For some of us, we need a drink before the school year starts, because it's definitely going to be a new challenge, coupled with the old challenge that we dealt with in the spring. So I think it's going to be interesting times. But I really want to encourage you to be looking at, if you've ever thought about starting a business, I don't think there could ever have been a better time to start a business but right now. Looking at ways to solve people's problems, to figure out how you can help somebody, and in helping somebody, you might be able to help yourself. So just take that for what it's worth. I don't specifically have one specific idea or another. I know that several of you listening to this have probably thought about starting or doing something, or maybe enhancing what you already did. And I think that there could never be a better time than right now. So, so I think that's one thing I want to share with you. And then, so I have two more things. So this fifth thing is something that I think we could all stand to adhere to. And I don't know if any of you remember that movie Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. It was a great movie. I love Patrick Swayze. I was so sad when he died. But Patrick Swayze, he was a great actor, but he was in this movie called Roadhouse where he played a bouncer. And he came into this bar that really had some challenges. It was a bar that played live music, kind of like country, Zydeco type music. And, but there were always fights. There was just always unrest in this bar. But when Patrick Swayze came in, his character had the ability to bring with him a level of calm, and his demeanor is what set the tone. And I think that I remember at the beginning of the movie, once they introduced Patrick Swayze's character, and he observes the bar and all the challenges that he has. When he goes in to talk to the staff for the first time, he talks about being nice, just being nice to people, no matter what the challenges that they bring to the table at that moment. Just be nice. And I can hear his voice saying that. And some of you that have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Now, in the movie, he said, just be nice. And then they were like, well, what if things go haywire? And he was like, well, then there's always a time not to be nice. And I'm not suggesting that you look for that, right? Because that's not the idea. But what I am trying to share, and the moral of this story with regard to Patrick Swayze, is that we are dealing with hard times and bubblegum. And I don't think that there's ever been a time in our history where we need to figure out how we can go out of our way to be nice to other people, even people that we don't necessarily agree with. And I get it that some of us like to draw those lines in the sand, but you know what? You never know what somebody else is going through. That's why they always say, hey, don't judge a person until you've walked a mile in their shoes. So I really just want to encourage you to be thinking about that. And for those of you that are Roadhouse fans and have seen the movie, just let Patrick Swayze's voice in your head play over and over and over again. Just be nice. Just be nice. It's really not that difficult, but I really want to encourage you. Let's work hard to do that, because we can allow the media, we can allow the news, we can allow so many different voices to get in our heads and rile us up and rev us up and get us on a talking point that we feel strongly on. And I just really want to, encourage you to think about being nice. Yeah, and one of the viewers just mentioned empathy, and it is important. Empathy is hugely important, because you don't know what other people are going through. And I would have to say that right now, when you go out, you're encountering people that barely have food on the cupboard, in the cupboards. Maybe looking at their last couple of weeks of work checks, because their boss has told them that they've got to let everybody go by the end of the month. You don't know what their situation is. And so I think it could benefit us all if we work to be nice, especially in this season. If there was ever a season for us to just default to nice, now is that season. It's a chance for us to just love up on each other. Republican, Democrat, Independent, I don't care where you fall, whether you love Trump or you're a Bernie bro or whatever. I mean, I'm being funny here, but the bottom line is, you get what I'm saying. We just have to be nice to each other. We have to understand that there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. There's a lot of people that are scared out there right now. And I think if we don't take a minute to just stop and think about what we want to say to somebody, or how we want to say it, how it's going to be received, just default to being nice, and the chances of you being received well by just about anyone is pretty good. Now, if somebody's a jerk, they're a jerk regardless. And, like I say, we can tell jerks to kick rocks, because there's not much else that we can do about that. But I still like to meet that type of attitude with love, because love conquers all. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. So take that for what it's worth. I wish I had a better observation to share, but I think it's an observation that we need to be reminded of. And that observation is just to be nice. And then the last thing I want to share with you, and see, I have my notes here, is I want to just say that, I have been privileged enough to do I Am Northwest Arkansas now for almost, a year, almost a year and a half now. I can't believe it. 80 episodes. This will be episode 80 of the podcast. And, I just want to say, I don't have a largesse to give away or anything like that. But if you know someone that's in need, and you can help them out, you should do it. If you are that someone that is in need, let us know. And certainly we will do whatever we can to help you out, or to guide you to the people that can help you out. I think of people like my man Nate Walls from Secondhand Smoke Barbecue. And, I met up with Nate this weekend because my mom in Pittsburgh sent him a check for all the work that he's doing. I told her all about him, and I had some family members donate to his cause and to donate to his nonprofit organization, because, this guy is doing an amazing thing here in Northwest Arkansas of trying to feed those that are food insecure. And, he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart. And I told him, I said, man, you're building up some serious street cred and some credit, period. Because, there's going to come a time and a place when we're going to get back to normal, and you're going to be out there catering this and doing that. Maybe you'll open up a restaurant, who knows? But, I just can encourage him to keep doing that. But there's so many like that are out there doing what needs to be done on a regular basis, whether it's smoking barbecue, whether it's making masks. I think of people like Carol Mitchell Waddle and my friend Donovan Brigham and so many others that are, just sacrificing their time and their effort to just help other people. That's what it's all about. And so for those of you that feel like I'm by myself in all of this, you aren't. If you need help, raise your hand, let us know. And, somebody can direct you to someone that can help you out. I don't care what it is, but, nobody should be going to bed hungry here in Northwest Arkansas, or in this country, period. One of the richest countries in the world, regardless of what our challenges are, nobody should be going to bed hungry in this country. So I really want to encourage you that we're here to help. And if I can help in any way, reach out to me. You can comment below. I'll make sure I connect you with the right people. If I can personally help you, I will do that. If some of you have thoughts or ideas about businesses that you want to start and you just want to run them by me, or you just want an ear, let me know. Whatever I can do. I mean, I've got a wife and kids. I've got a lot of responsibilities, but I will make time for you the best way that I know how, and or refer you or make a connection with you and somebody else that I think can definitely help you. So I'm just throwing it out there. I know it's a lot of folks that listen to the podcast. I just want to let you know how I feel about things. And I just wanted to share some of these observations. That's really all that I have today to share on this episode. This was more of a transitional episode. I'll be back next week with, regular programming as scheduled. I've got some new episodes to come. And we've had some great people on recently. Mervyn Jabaraj, the economist from the University of Arkansas. We had two bright, brilliant young people from Oculogics, and just amazing things that company is doing right here in Northwest Arkansas. We had Nicole Calhoun, who can fold you into a pretzel in a yoga studio. We've had some amazing guests on the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast recently. So we appreciate each and every one of you that listens to the podcast. If you haven't listened to it, but you just happen to be watching this video, go subscribe. Check it out at IamNorthwestArkansas.com. You can find us wherever great podcasts can be found. And oh, by the way, if you own an Amazon Alexa, just say, "Hey, Alexa, play the latest episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast," and Alexa will oblige and play it for you. So how about that? So that's all I have for today. It is Monday, August 10th. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you for checking me out here, both live on Facebook at I Am Northwest Arkansas, as well as on the podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you. We just love our audience so dearly. You guys mean the world to us, and you're the reason why we do what we do on a regular basis. And our goal is to continue to get better, to continue to evolve, and to bring you some of the best content available here in the Ozarks. So I'm Randy Wilburn, your host. That's all I've got for you this week. Stay cool, because it's hot out there, and I will see you soon. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. Check us out each and every week, available anywhere that great podcasts can be found. For show notes or more information on becoming a guest, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. We'll see you next week on I Am Northwest Arkansas.